You've probably heard the famous Quranic story of the sleepers of the cave, right? A group of young believers who slept for centuries to escape persecution. It's a tale of incredible faith. But what if I told you that hidden inside this well-known story is a puzzle, a deep, mind-bending code that changes absolutely everything we thought we knew about it? Okay, let's get into this.
So, you know the traditional take, right? It's basically seen as this Christian legend about faith, about endurance that the Quran adopted to teach a moral lesson. Seems pretty straightforward. But yeah, it's not that simple. Not at all. See, the chapter kicks off by warning against certain claims made by Christians. And guess where this legend comes from? The Christians. So the big question is, why on earth would the Quran tell a story that came from the very source it just told you to be wary of? It just doesn't add up. I mean, the Quran couldn't be more blunt. In verse 5, literally right before the story begins, it says that what they're saying is but lies. So let's get this straight. It calls their claims lies, and then immediately launches into one of their most famous legends? How is that even possible? It's a massive contradiction. So this is where you gotta scratch your head, right? Why call them liars and then immediately turn around and tell one of their most famous legends? Is this a mistake, a contradiction, or is there something way more clever going on just beneath the surface? So how do we crack this puzzle? Well, according to the analysis of Dr. Hani, the key is realizing the Quran isn't contradicting itself at all. It's hiding something in plain sight. And here's the best part. You don't have to go looking for answers in other books or ancient manuscripts. The Quran gives you the decryption key itself, right there in the following verses. It basically tells you how to read what's coming next. The whole key is one single Arabic word, zina. Now, zina means an adornment, like a decoration or even makeup. Think of it as a beautiful outer layer that's put there on purpose to cover up what's really underneath. It's a deliberate concealment. And look, the text straight up tells us this zina is intentional. It's a test, placed atop the scriptural text. And what's its purpose? To see who's just reading the pretty surface story and who's willing to dig deeper for the real message. So you see what's happening? The story of the sleepers of the cave isn't the message. It is the zina, the adornment. It's like a Trojan horse. The familiar Christian legend is just the vehicle, but hidden inside are secret strategic instructions meant only for the Prophet Muhammad and his closest followers. And boom, just like that, the paradox is solved. It was brilliant, really. It allowed the Prophet's enemies to just stand there, smirking, thinking he was just repeating old myths, while the real message, those secret instructions, sailed right under their noses. They never saw it coming. Okay, now we get to the really exciting part. If this story is a code, then what are the secret messages? Because once you start decoding, the analysis reveals some things that will absolutely blow your mind. The first bombshell has to do with who the characters actually are. We've always been told this is a story about one group of heroes, but the coded meaning? It shows us it's actually about two completely different, opposing groups in a very real conflict. And the Quran actually uses different names to separate them. The real heroes, according to this reading, are called al-Fitya, and they represent the Prophet and his inner circle. The companions of the cave, the ones the story is named after, they're actually the antagonists, the Prophet's opponents. The whole script gets flipped. You see, this means the Quran isn't just telling a nice story. It's using this legend as a secure channel, a way to pass on critical warnings about enemies, give instructions on how to stay hidden, and deliver strategic guidance to a new community that was in a very dangerous position. Now, let's talk about one of the most iconic parts of the story, the number 309. For centuries, everyone has just assumed this is how many years the sleepers were in the cave. Simple as that. But remember, if the surface story is just an adornment, then this number is almost definitely part of the code. And the analysis shows it's not a measure of time at all. It's a piece of battlefield intelligence. And this is the goosebumps moment. Verse 25 says they stayed in the cave 300, and they were increased by 9. It's not about years, it's a strategic count. 300 was the number of opponents they were up against, and increased by 9? That was the most chilling part, a warning that there were 9 hypocrites, 9 traitors, working from inside the Prophet's own community. This wasn't a history lesson, it was a live intelligence briefing.
So, what does all this mean for how we read the Quran? This analysis doesn't just change one story, it suggests a completely new way of understanding how the whole book communicates. The implication here is just staggering. This whole method of using a popular fable to hide a coded message, this analysis suggests it could be a fundamental key to unlocking the strategic layers hidden inside all of the Quranic stories. All of the Quranic stories.
I mean, the strategy itself is brilliant. It's a 3-step process. First, you take a story everybody already knows. Second, you embed your secret instructions for your own people deep inside it. And third, and this is the genius part, your enemies just hear the familiar fairy tale. They roll their eyes and dismiss it as a myth, and they have no idea they just listened to your secret battle plans. Ultimately, this completely reframes the purpose of storytelling in the Quran. It shifts it from being a book that just repeats old legends to being a dynamic, living text that's delivering concealed, vital guidance to its followers, all while hiding in plain sight. And that leaves us with a really powerful question. Have we been missing the Quran's strategic genius for centuries? And think about this. Which is the greater sign of reverence? To accept the stories at face value, or to search for what could be a masterwork of divine code, hidden just beneath the surface?